know I did a video on chapter 8 on the last movie about God, and I'm gonna do chapter 9 later in the week. But I wanted to do another quick video, um, and I've had this on my mind, and it's definitely it's one of the signs that I think has made me realize that I'm a Christian agnostic, but it's one that I think I don't. It's one that I'm almost positive I may not have shared yet. If I have, then I may be going in just more depth with this, so just bear with me. But there's a bunch of different um, beliefs surrounding God and everything that people are passionate about, and I have a lot, but the one that I mainly come back to, especially coming off of where I'm at in my journey, as well as also hearing the lives and stories of friends and fellow family members and stuff like that. The one thing that I keep coming back to, that I probably believe more passionately, um, probably just as much, if not more passionately than any of the other things I believe, is to each your own. You know, um, you look at how there's a bunch of different Christian sects out there. There's Christian, there's Catholic, there's Protestant, there's Adventist, there's Lutheran, you know, um, Church of the Latter-day Saints, Mormons, or Scientology. All these people who claim to believe in God, and that's always the kicker to me, is that there's all these different organized religious systems out there, and the kicker is that they think that everybody believes in the same God, yet they believe that they have all the answers and the other person doesn't. Um, for example, I find it interesting that, and this is again another reason why I just proved my point that to each your own is something that I can't help, and even if I could help it, still am all for, because it just shows you how different everybody is. But if you just look at Scientology and people like Leah Remini exposing Scientology for what it is, and claiming that certain people like Tom Cruise are being brainwashed by that organized system. And what's interesting is that I feel like a lot of people, they hear just Leah's side and they agree with it. But something that I have realized in being a Christian is that you have to look at both sides. So for me, it's not just looking at Leah Remini's side, it's looking at Tom Cruise's side. I mean, there's a whole video on him talking about Scientology, like an uncut version, and talking about what it is and everything. And if Tom Cruise believes that this is who he is when it comes to you know when it comes to belief in God and helping people, then that's who he's meant to be. If Leah is meant to try to prove it to be a scam, then that's who she's meant to be. Um, and then this is it's a question that I haven't gotten, but it definitely is something that I have talked about with um, family members before, and I've done research on it. Is people make the argument that of all the different sects of Christianity out there, Scientology and Mormonism they're more cults than they are churches. Um, and I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say that I agree with the people that I've talked with about it, but um, there is that sense of understanding why people would subscribe to the belief that um, that Scientology and Mormonism are cults. Um, I watched a video somewhere where, and I believe this to be true, that every form of religion, even Christianity, has some form of cultish in it. You know, like if people want to dub if people want to dub Mormonism as a cult, if people want to dub Scientology as a cult, then then they should dub not all but some of what they believe to be as a cult too. I mean, I'm not saying that Christianity as a whole is a cult. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, you know, not all, but I do think that there are some elements that of Mormonism and Scientology that would appear to be cult-ish. There's a difference between cult-ish and actual full-on cult. Like, I do think, like, if one were to actually examine, Mormonism and Scientology, that while they would find some wacky beliefs, that there would be beliefs that there, would be surprised to, find interesting and good. Um, um, you know, I mean, not all, but there are some aspects of certain Christian sects that do have that do have cultish elements. You know, and something that's always bugged me is, I've had my experience of running into Mormons before, um, and always shoving the door in their face when I was younger, and I'm like, okay, why do I do that? Like, one, why do I do that? And two, are they really that bad at people? Because they're humans just like us, and they're just trying to do what any believer in God would do. Like, they're just doing their job, and they've just been showing love just as much as the next person, you know. And so, and I have, a friend who I also used to work with who was trying to find who she was spiritually, and all of a sudden found the Mormon church and has found who she is. And so basically what I'm getting at is that if you feel led by the Spirit, or you feel led by God to get to know him better and to evolve with him spiritually and to have a spiritual community, if you feel led to be a part of the Christian church in any sect, then do that. Like, if you feel led to be a part of the Catholic Church, be a part of the Catholic Church. If you feel led to be a part of the Lutheran Church, be a part of the Lutheran Church. And hell, if you feel led to be part of the Mormon Church or the Scientologist Church, then be a part of that. I feel like we overcomplicate things too much. I feel like, we see things, we overcomplicate things to the point where we try to play God, and we say that religious system is bad, mine is good, therefore I'm going to go to heaven when I die, and they're going to inherit Gehenna and hell when they die. And it's like, no, like, and another thing that I just find kind of interesting is that, we all were meant to show love to people, and if being a part of a certain, you know, movement gets them to that space of peace and happiness, then so be it. Um, I just wish that, or whatever whatever belief in God you have, whatever church you go to. I just hope that we can reach a day where we can refrain from using the word religion and refer to it more as spirituality, because religion kind of gives a negative connotation, it's kind of more of a con word than a pro word, where spirituality, it's more of a pro and it's more a positive word. Um, but and who knows if my thoughts are going to change on this within a year or so. But with this time of questioning and everything like that, I just can't help but just have these thoughts in my mind. And so, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, as well as, if you agree or disagree with me and why. I'd love to, hear your thoughts on it. I'm just extremely passionate about, you know, loving people for who they are, regardless of whether they believe the same thing as you do or not. And so I'm just all about sharing love. Like, if there's one way that I would want to use religion in a good way, I would want to say that love is my religion. Like, that's it. Like, my spiritual path, for labeling terms, is Christian agnostic. For me, that's not a religion, that's just my spiritual path, my spiritual journey. But my actual religion is love. That's it. It's just love. And I think that should be everyone's religion, regardless of whether you believe in God or not. That should really be everyone's religious practice, is love. Just to love people and love yourself as well. So, I mean, that's the fucking bottom line, So, there you go. That's my little, that's my video on that, and I'll end it here. So, yeah, just let me know what you think, and thank you for listening and for watching and liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I will see you guys later.